What I am about to say today could change the course of your life. Productivity is not about working harder. It's about building yourself into the kind of person who makes progress naturally, through discipline, through clarity, and through the small but powerful habits that compound over time until your life becomes a reflection of your daily decisions. Every productive life is built on 5 invisible pillars: your mindset, your habits, your environment, your relationships, and your purpose. And the moment you strengthen even one of them, everything in your life begins to rise with it, like a tide lifting all boats. You don't need to wait for the perfect day or the perfect opportunity. You simply need to take control of your hours, command your energy, and design your life intentionally so that success doesn't remain a dream. It becomes a daily experience fueled by action, focus, and self-respect. Productivity is never born from accident or luck. It is created, shaped, and refined inside a person long before it shows up in their calendar, their achievements, or their bank account. The world sees the outcomes, but the real transformation begins in quiet moments when no one is watching. It begins when a person decides that they are done living on autopilot and ready to step into a life ruled not by emotion or circumstance, but by intention. Productivity is a mirror that reflects the strength of your discipline, the sharpness of your clarity, and the depth of your commitment to who you want to become. Jim Rohn always taught that success is something you attract by the person you become. And that simple idea changes everything, because it shifts your focus from chasing results to building the self that naturally creates results. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of control, not chaos. Imagine knowing that your actions are aligned with your values, that your habits are building your future, and that your minutes are invested, not wasted. This feeling does not come from having the perfect plan or some magical burst of motivation. It comes from developing inner architecture so strong that your progress becomes inevitable. You no longer fight with procrastination every morning. You no longer negotiate with your goals. You operate from a place of identity, not willpower. You do what needs to be done because you are becoming the kind of person who does it. Discipline is the first silent force behind every productive life. It's not harsh, and it's not punishment. Discipline is simply the habit of keeping your own promises. When you say you will do something and you do it, your confidence rises. Your mind begins to trust you. And when you trust yourself, action becomes easier. People often talk about motivation as if it's fuel, but motivation is seasonal and emotional. Discipline is mechanical, steady, reliable. It gives you the ability to move forward even when the mood isn't right or the day isn't perfect. And what begins as small acts of discipline, waking up on time, completing tasks, prioritizing wisely, slowly turns into big shifts in your identity. Clarity is the second silent force. You cannot be productive if you don't know what matters. So many people feel tired not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too many things that don't move their life forward. Clarity acts like a spotlight, revealing what deserves your effort and what deserves your exit. When you know your direction, your energy flows there naturally. Decisions become simpler, distractions become less appealing, and suddenly your time starts multiplying because you are no longer wasting it on things that lead nowhere. Clarity brings power because it removes confusion, and confusion is one of the biggest enemies of productivity. Then come the small but powerful habits that compound over time. A productive life is not built from dramatic bursts of effort, but from consistent, repeatable actions. Reading a few pages every day, planning your morning, reflecting on your progress, breaking tasks into manageable steps. These small routines don't look impressive, but they are the quiet gears that turn the machine of progress. Over days they create momentum, over weeks they create discipline, over months they create transformation, and over years they create a life that others call successful while you simply call intentional. Habits also protect you from the trap of overwhelm. When something becomes routine, it no longer drains mental energy. You don't have to argue with yourself about whether to do it. You don't have to push yourself through mental friction. You simply execute. That frees your mind to focus on bigger decisions, deeper thinking, and creative problem solving. In a world full of distractions and noise, habits give you stability and structure. They shape your character in ways that motivation never could. All of this begins with a simple idea. Productivity is personal leadership. You are leading yourself through your choices, your standards, and your consistency. When you tell yourself you will finish a task and you don't, you're training your mind to accept compromise. But when you show up for yourself again and again, even in small ways, you are training your mind to value your own word. And that is where real productivity begins, not with apps, tools, or planners, but with self-respect. The moment you take responsibility for your life instead of waiting for circumstances to change, something powerful happens. Time feels different. Opportunities feel different. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop surviving and start constructing. Your life becomes something you build brick by brick through intention rather than something that happens to you by default. And slowly, without fanfare or applause, you become a person who makes progress naturally. That is the real foundation of a productive life, not the rush of doing more, but the discipline of becoming more. Every truly productive life stands on foundations that most people never see, and those foundations are the 5 invisible pillars that quietly determine how far you rise and how strong you stand. When you look at someone who seems focused, balanced, and consistently moving forward, you're not seeing luck or a personality trait. You're seeing a well-designed life built on mindset, habits, environment, relationships, and purpose. Strengthening even one of these pillars creates a shift inside you that affects everything else. Like tightening one loose bolt that suddenly stops the entire machine from rattling. And the moment you begin to consciously shape these pillars, your life stops being a reaction to circumstances and starts becoming a deliberate creation of your own design. It all begins with mindset, the filter through which you interpret your life. Mindset is the difference between seeing problems as burdens or as opportunities to grow. It determines whether you treat your time casually or respect it like currency. It shapes whether you wait for motivation or act from responsibility. When your mindset is strong, you don't crumble under pressure. You convert pressure into direction. You don't give excuses oxygen. You give solutions attention. Productivity is nearly impossible when your mindset is filled with doubt, fear, or confusion. But give your mind clarity, intention, and belief, and suddenly every action you take becomes sharper, faster, and more meaningful. Productivity is not just about doing. It's about thinking in a way that supports doing, but mindset alone is not enough. The second invisible pillar is your habits, the daily actions that seem small but secretly carry the power to shape your identity. You don't become productive because you plan to be. You become productive because you train yourself to be through repetition. A 5-minute morning routine done with consistency will build more momentum than a brilliant plan executed once. Habits are the engines that turn your intentions into results. They make discipline automatic. They reduce friction. They eliminate hesitation. They create a sense of personal rhythm that helps you flow through the day instead of constantly stopping and restarting. And when your habits support your goals, your life naturally starts aligning with your vision without you having to force progress every morning. The third pillar, your environment, is often underestimated, yet it influences you more than willpower ever can. You cannot consistently outperform the environment you place yourself in. The people you see, the space you work in, the energy around you, the systems you create. These elements shape your behavior whether you realize it or not. A cluttered environment creates a cluttered mind. A noisy environment weakens focus. A distracting environment fights against your discipline every minute. But an intentional environment supports you. A clean desk, a structured workflow, a room that inspires energy, tools that remove friction, routines that promote deep focus. When your environment is designed to serve you instead of sabotage you, productivity stops being a battle and becomes a natural response to your surroundings. Then come relationships, the fourth pillar and one of the strongest forces in your performance. You rise or fall to the level of the people you keep close. Surround yourself with complainers, and you start speaking their language. Surround yourself with dreamers, workers, and disciplined individuals, and you begin adopting their vocabulary and habits. Relationships influence your standards, your expectations, and your pace. When you have people who support your goals, challenge your excuses, and encourage your growth, you gain an emotional and psychological fuel that makes focus easier and progress faster. On the other hand, when your circle drains your energy or belittles your vision, productivity becomes heavier, slower, and emotionally exhausting. The people around you don't just fill your time, they shape your identity. And at the center of all these pillars lies purpose, the fifth and most magnetic force in a productive life. Purpose gives direction to your energy. Without purpose, even the best habits feel boring, the best environment feels ineffective, and the best advice feels empty. But with purpose, every action carries weight, every decision feels intentional, every morning holds meaning. Purpose turns routine into passion and work into mission. It reminds you why you started when the day feels heavy. It keeps you aligned when life gets chaotic. It becomes the emotional backbone behind your discipline. People who lack purpose often struggle with consistency because they don't know what they're being consistent for. But people who know their purpose move with a confidence that others can feel. What makes these 5 pillars extraordinary is how they work together. Strengthening one lifts the others. Improve your mindset and your habits get easier. Improve your environment and your discipline grows naturally. Strengthen your relationships and your purpose becomes clearer. Clarify your purpose and your mindset sharpens. Each pillar supports the next, creating a powerful cycle of growth that compounds quietly but visibly. And the moment you take these invisible elements seriously, your visible results start to transform. Instead of chasing productivity, you begin embodying it. Instead of struggling for focus, focus becomes your default. Instead of pushing yourself constantly, your life begins pulling you forward. A productive life is not the result of working harder. It is the result of building stronger pillars within yourself and around yourself. When your inner world is aligned, your outer world follows. When your pillars are strong, your progress becomes steady. And when you commit to developing even one of these foundations, you begin to rise, not suddenly, not dramatically, but consistently, powerfully, and inevitably. You don't need to wait for the perfect hour or the perfect day to start living a productive life, because perfection has never been a requirement for progress. What you truly need is ownership of your time, your energy, and your decisions. Most people delay action because they think the right moment will suddenly appear like a sign from the universe. But the truth is, the right moment is created, not found. It begins the instant you decide that your life deserves more intention than improvisation, more design than accident, and more purpose than routine. When you take command of your hours, you take command of your destiny, because your life is nothing more than the accumulation of what you do with your time. Every day gives you 24 blank pages to write on, and the quality of your story depends on what you choose to fill those pages with. Productivity is not about packing every hour with work. It is about placing value on the hours you have. You can waste them, spend them, or invest them. Wasted hours turn into regret. Spent hours turn into memories. Invested hours turn into growth. And when you begin treating your time like an asset instead of something that slips away unnoticed, your entire mindset shifts. You become intentional. You become alert. You become protective of your energy and selective with your commitments. You stop tolerating chaos disguised as busyness because you understand that every distraction comes with a hidden cost. Energy is the second fuel you must command. Time means nothing if your energy is empty. You can have the whole day free, but if your mind is foggy, your emotions are heavy, or your habits drain you instead of strengthening you, productivity becomes an uphill battle. You must know what charges you and what breaks you. You must recognize when to push and when to pause. You must learn to start your day with momentum instead of scrambling for direction halfway through. Energy management is the difference between forcing progress and flowing into it. People who manage their energy well don't rely on motivation. They rely on rhythm. They build routines that prepare their mind, environment, and body for deep focus and meaningful work. The secret is not to have more time, but to bring more energy to the time you already have. Life becomes extraordinary when you stop reacting to your days and start designing them. You don't stumble into productivity, you engineer it. You create it through structure, clarity, and consistency. Design means choosing what matters most and shaping your routines around it. It means planning the night before so your mornings start with direction instead of confusion. It means eliminating the noise that steals your attention, unnecessary notifications, random browsing, pointless conversations. When you design your day, you remove guesswork. You remove the emotional chaos that comes from making too many decisions. You save your mental power for what truly moves your life forward. This is how you turn ordinary days into powerful stepping stones toward your goals. Success stops being a distant dream the moment you stop depending on good days and start creating good systems. Systems make progress predictable. Systems protect your discipline. Systems carry you on the days motivation runs out. When you build systems that reflect your values, morning rituals, structured work sessions, boundaries around your time, you begin to experience something rare, consistency that doesn't feel heavy, focus that doesn't feel forced. Your life becomes easier not because you're doing less, but because you've removed the friction that once held you back. The beauty of this approach is that it transforms success from something emotional to something mechanical. You don't have to feel like working. You simply work because your system guides you. You don't have to wait for inspiration. You move because your routine already created the momentum. You don't have to hope you'll be productive. You become productive by design. And with every day you live intentionally, your results begin to compound. A small improvement in your system today creates a noticeable improvement in your life 6 months later. The gap between who you are and who you want to be begins to shrink, sometimes so subtly that you don't even realize how much progress you've made until one day you look around and everything feels different, brighter, lighter, more aligned. And perhaps the most important truth is this: productivity is an act of self-respect. When you take control of your hours, you are telling yourself that your dreams matter, your future matters, and your life deserves excellence. You stop letting circumstances dictate your actions. You stop letting moods dictate your decisions. You stop allowing people to pull you in directions you were never meant to go. Instead, you rise each day with clarity and purpose. You operate from intention, not impulse. You move with focus, not confusion. And slowly, your life shifts from something you manage to something you master. The moment you take command of your hours, your energy, and your design, you unlock a version of yourself capable of achieving far more than you once believed. Not because you became someone new, but because you finally stopped waiting and started creating. A productive life is not built in sudden moments of inspiration. It is built in the quiet decision to rise, to take charge, and to own your future. And as we bring everything together, the mindset, the habits, the environment, the relationships, the purpose, the design of your hours, there is one truth that echoes louder than all the rest. Asterisk, asterisk, you are far more powerful than the excuses that have held you back. Asterisk, asterisk, the world does not need a perfect version of you. The world needs the committed you, the disciplined you, the focused you, the you who finally decides, I will not live another day on autopilot. I will not drift. I will direct. I will design. I will build. This is the moment where the story shifts. This is the moment where you stop seeing your life as something happening to you and start seeing it as something happening because of you. Every step forward begins with a declaration, asterisk, asterisk. I choose growth. I choose discipline. I choose purpose. Asterisk, asterisk. And once you choose, life begins to open for you in ways you never imagined. Doors appear where there were only walls. Strength appears where there was only doubt. Clarity appears where there was only confusion. Because the truth is, the most successful people in the world are not the most talented. They are the most intentional. They wake up with direction. They act with purpose. They design their environment, guard their hours, sharpen their mindset, and surround themselves with people who lift them higher. They refuse to be casual about their dreams. They refuse to treat their time like it's cheap. They refuse to surrender their goals to laziness, fear, or distraction. And you, yes, you, have the power to do the same. Imagine the person you would become if you truly committed. Imagine who you would be 6 months from now if you stopped negotiating with your goals. Imagine how your life would transform if you stopped saying one day and started saying today. This is not fantasy. This is not theory. This is the life waiting for you on the other side of consistency, the life waiting for you on the other side of discipline, the life waiting for you on the other side of becoming the kind of person who follows through, who stands tall, who rises with intention, who refuses to live small. You have dreams inside you that deserve action. You have potential inside you that deserves expression. You have strength inside you that deserves to lead. But none of it will come alive until you refuse to settle for a life that is less than what you are capable of. Jim Rohn said, "If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree." And that line is a reminder that your life is clay in your hands. You can mold it, shape it, transform it, reinvent it. You are not stuck. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. You have the ability to begin again as many times as necessary. So stand tall. Look at your life with honesty and courage. Ask yourself, what would happen if I truly tried? What would happen if I gave my time the respect it deserves? What would happen if I strengthened my habits, protected my purpose, and aligned my actions with the person I want to be? The answer is simple. You would rise. You would grow, you would evolve, you would become the author of your own life rather than the audience to your circumstances. Start designing your days like your future depends on them, because it does. Start showing up even when you don't feel like it, because consistency beats motivation every time. Start removing the distractions that steal your focus, because your dreams need your attention. Start surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, because your circle shapes your ceiling. And above all, speak to yourself with power. Tell yourself, ***, I can do this, I deserve this, I am capable, I am disciplined, I am focused, I am becoming, ***, speak to yourself the way a leader speaks. Speak to yourself the way a champion speaks. Speak to yourself like someone who refuses to be anything but their best. Your words will shape your beliefs will shape your behavior, and your behavior will shape your destiny. From this moment on, no more waiting, no more hesitation, no more letting the day control you. You take control, you set the tone, you create the direction. Wake up tomorrow with intention. Move with purpose. Act with courage, protect your time, honor your energy, fight for your potential. Every small step you take is investment. Every disciplined choice is a building block. Every hour used wisely becomes a seed that grows into a future you can be proud of. Your life is ready for its next chapter, but that chapter needs a stronger, bolder, more intentional version of you. Step into that version. Step into that strength. Step into that focus. And as you do, repeat these words within yourself. ***, I am not waiting for a perfect moment. I am creating my own moment. I am building my own future. I am rising. ***, because the 5 pillars of a productive life are now in your hand. And the power to transform your life begins with the choice you make right now, ***, the choice to begin. ***,